is to define a coarse soil under the Unified Soil Classification System, to look at the difference between a sand and a gravel, and to define the C subscript U and C subscript C sum. So the first thing we need to do is define a coarse soil. So we know a fine soil is when a sample of soil has its majority of particle sizes being less than 0.075. So a coarse soil is when the majority of the sample has particle sizes greater than 0.075 millimeters in diameter. Okay, so we have mainly big particles, we might have a couple small particles. And we need to know that because the first question in our flowchart is the amount passing through 0.075 millimeters, and it's coarse when less than 50% has passed through, or I like to think of it as more than 50% has been retained on our sieves. Okay, so all it's saying is that the majority is greater than 0.075 millimeters. The next point in our flowchart splits us between a sand and a gravel. So what it's saying is the majority of what is retained, is that a sand or a gravel? Okay, so we need to know the spectrums of sand and gravel. A sand has particle sizes 0.06 to 2 millimeters. So we saw this in the first video, I'm just recapping it. And a gravel has particle sizes 2 to 60 millimeters. And you can see now why I have superimposed that on our grading curve, because it's going to show us graphically to know where to go down which branch. So down the soil or gravel. Down the sand or gravel. So I've got sand and gravel. So when we come and graph our grading curve, we're going to be able to see that graphically which one to go down. So that's for the sand and the gravel. And the last thing we need to define is C subscript U, which is equal to D subscript 60 on D subscript 10, and CC, so C subscript C, which is D subscript 30 squared on D subscript 60 by D subscript 10. So what are these terms? All it is D60, you would come to your grading curve, so this is the one we did in the previous video, and D60 is the diameter at 60, so you would come across, so there's 60, I would come across to my curve, I would hit my curve, and I would find the diameter at 60%, which in our case is 0.05. So D60 is 0.05 millimeters. And you could do the same for D30 and D10, and we're going to be using this to define a coarse soil for some examples. So we just need to know what C subscript U and C subscript C are. We're going to be doing an actual numerical example to work out both, so don't worry so much about them now, but just realize that all it is we go to 60%, 30%, and 10%, and we find their corresponding diameters. Anyway guys, in the next couple of videos we're going to do a few examples going through the flowchart for a coarse grained soil. It looks confusing, but it's really not hard if you just watch the next couple of videos. Hope that helps guys.